Yeah, U3, live from the underground.
Yo, it's your girl DJ Baby Blue Diamond, and we here with you three. We're here tuning into U3 Underground Unsigned and Unknown, and we have a guest, Miss Jacque Guedea. Hope I'm pronouncing your last name right. I'm not good at Spanish names. But we're here with Jacque with Studio Music 1601. If you don't know what that is is it a label? It's a label, right?
Yeah, we're a label and a management service company and development company. Yeah.
They do it all. Your
Yeah.
one-stop shop. Well, let's talk about how you got started with the Studio Music 1601. You and your husband.
So, I believe it was like 1999. He went to school for engineering. He wanted to just do production and vocals, and for me, it kind of just happened accidentally. It was just the business aspect. I was already going to school for business, so I was just seeing artists coming in and out, not really budgeting correctly, not really watching their money and contracts and just anything business oriented. They weren't really handling to the best of their ability. And for me, I'm in the corporate world, so I was already going to school plus already working at a bank. So I just kind of incorporated everything in together, and I just started helping out. So him and I just kind of became a duo unknowingly. You know, he handled the production side, finding almost like an A&R, finding the talent, and then I just went from there as far as like how do I assist them on from their development standpoint, how do I help them gain money, because if they're going to gain money, I'm going to gain money. So it started naturally, really. I didn't even anticipate me helping him at all. It was just kind of like, oh, all these people are coming to my house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who was your first artist that y'all managed, and how many artists do you have, or about how many artists do you have now? Because I know you have quite a few.
It's funny because it was my husband that was, oh, sorry.
Yes, I did.
I think it was my husband that he was an artist first. He was doing the production part. He was doing the engineering aspect, but he was also a performer. He was also a rapper. And at that point, it was like really helping him. And then maybe one of his good friends, which is Prolific, and he has that song Time with Lil Yoda, and he has an album coming out also. So they were just friends because we grew up from the same town, and I just started helping my husband and then his group of friends, and it just kind of was unofficial.
Yeah.
And after that, there was a good gap because I was, a mom I still am a mom, obviously, but I had new babies, put it that way. And I had to take that break. And that's whenever Laura D, which is now the Alien Babe, I remember just thinking, like, because we have this big age gap. I'm closer in age to her mom than I am to her.
Yeah.
So I knew her mom growing up and in my family, and I'm thinking like, I remember there was always this little girl there that knew how to sing, but I don't remember who the heck she was,
Yeah.
And one day my husband's like, oh, I recorded this girl named Laura D. And I'm like, gosh, she looks familiar. I don't know who she is, but whatever. And then I think she requested me on Facebook. And at that point, I was already living in San Antonio, but we're originally all from Hondo. And I'm clicking through her stuff, her pictures, and I'm like, oh my God, how does she know, this person and that person? I'm like, oh my God, her grandmother's my grandmother's sister.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, so we're cousins. And I remember coming home and I walked in to my husband and he's like in the studio and he's like, what? I'm like, do you know Laura D is my cousin? And he's like, no. I'm like, yeah, she's my cousin. So then at that point, I think she was still living in Hondo. And then I started messaging her and we started just kind of catching up like, oh, this is how related we are. And for me, Hondo's a tiny town, so it was like, get out of there and do something with your music.
Yeah.
Don't. So I had her come, and she just, I don't even know how it happened, honestly. She started living with me and my husband. So she was technically like our first artist that we were managing together, like building from the ground up and molding. And she was still figuring out her sound, figuring out how to write. And man, my tooth is hurting. Sorry.
So good.
Those things. And then, you know, she had a little break and she started tattooing and stuff like that. And then from there is whenever we met one of our other artists that we had, Angel Cintron. And so, you know, we managed her for a good amount of time. And from there, it wasn't like we were seeking out people. It was just that they just kept coming. And
so they found you guys.
Yeah. And then the more we started like going to events with everybody, we started noticing how talented everybody in San Antonio really is, whether it come to country or gospel or rap, hip hop, trap. Like there was just so many talented people in San Antonio. So for us, it was just, we support everybody. So we started just noticing and making connections with everybody. And just kind of happened, really. It just kind of happened that way. So from Laura was Angel. Well, Laura's still with us, obviously. And now we have Jay Vera, Prince Bosquez, Mandy Lee. She's our country artist, but she has an EP that she just hasn't released yet. And then we have Jennifer B, or Jenny B, sorry.
Yeah.
And then Pro. So there's the 4 artists there. 1, 2, 3, 4. I always lose count, and I have to do it in my head, and that's embarrassing. And I hate it.
It's so good. It's a lot. That's good. That's more than most people have.
Like in my studio, we have a calendar, and I'm just like, I have to have it in squares, and I'm like, you know, this person and this person, and I have to break it down, and I'm like, did we get everybody today? But yeah, we've had quite a few just relationships with other people that are unofficially our artists. And then, as I was mentioning to you before, as far as DJs, so we are looking into just helping out DJ Act 6. Yeah, DJ Act 6. He's 13 years old. He's an EDM artist. He's gonna have his first single coming out July 3rd. And so we're helping him from that standpoint. But he's super, super talented. His production is like really, really dope. For his whole knowledge in music is crazy. Like he's such a musician. He plays the violin, the piano, and then for him to be a DJ, for him to be a DJ, it's it was weird. Like whenever he came, I was like, wow, your knowledge in music is super extensive. But yeah, so we have we're dabbling into that. So I know that was kind of one of the questions we had prior.
Yeah, that's dope. Okay, how did you handle the name change for Alien Babe? She was Laura D. I know she said someone else was Laura D, so that's why she decided to do the name change. So, like, if one of your artists wanted to like do a name change, how do you handle that? Like,
it has to be something like meaningful. So, why do you want to change it? Is it a whole rebrand? What is it? Because at that point with Laura D, like she was just starting out and she just needed to get these songs out because they're real personable songs. We have Rainbow Baby, and that's about her son and her struggle just trying to conceive.
Yeah.
And then she had her oldest daughter, I forget how old she would have been. Her name is Emery. So if you listen to the lyrics in there, it's she says Emery and she says Jupiter, and those are the 2 babies that she miscarried, and one of them was a stillborn, sorry. And then she finally had David, which is her rainbow baby. So I think all the songs that she got out under Laura D was just from the heart songs. Because if you really listen to the lyrics for every single song, those are like true stories. Every single one of them is a true story. And I don't think ever like anybody's ever actually listened.
Yeah.
And when they do, they're like, oh my God, like that's the tea. And it's like, yep, that's the tea. Like, that's what it is.
Yeah.
That whenever she started to really, like, she got all that out of her system, and she finally was able to touch that creative aspect from herself, and like to create the music she actually wanted to do. So now it's like entertainment part of it. So now she's able to actually entertain us versus having to get something out of her system because she needs to just, you know, be her artist part.
Yeah.
And you know, when she came to me about it, it was like, you know, at first I was like, what do you mean, the alien babe? And she came to us with a couple of other names. And I always make fun of her with the other names because I'm just like, well, who's talking to me? Is it this person or is it this person? You know, I just kid around with her, but
Her alter ego.
It wasn't that hard because I think that she kind of slowly, indirectly was dabbling into it because she just loves aliens to begin with.
Yeah.
You know, she just changed the name slowly. I feel like it just kind of just happened. And then the music, it just matched that persona. The music that's coming out just totally matches it. We have UFO coming out on the 26th with, with featuring Scream For Me, produced by Clef. And that song, we've had it for a good minute. So for us, of course, it feels like it's old, but to everybody else, it's new. And that song, it's going to we have Brujeria, which has been out, and then UFO that's coming out on the 26th. And then she has her entire EP. And there's just that sound. It's just like a complete rebrand. So it matches the alien babe, you know?
Got you. Now, for people who do not know the job or the role of a manager, because, you know, artists always get manager confused with label owner, confused with, you know, other people who do stuff in the music industry. So how would you describe your job as a manager?
I say, well, so right now, when people ask, like somebody asked me the other day, actually, well, what do you do? You know, and I'm like, you know, we do artist development. It just depends on where you're at in your career, where we really try to like customize ourselves to you. So if you need more development, we're going to be that development person to help you in your path and what you're trying to really like focus on. So if you want to, like DJ Act 6, he wants to focus on being a producer. So how do we help him get lessons or help him maybe shadow somebody in the studio? Yeah. It just really depends on where they're at. But there's a lot of people that do confuse, you know, just the career path of me telling you that this is what you should be doing and help you with those business decisions where they think that, oh, a manager is an investor. Or a manager is, you know, needs to be there as your day-to-day manager, not your music manager or your talent manager. There's like so many different things. So for us, it just really depends when somebody wants to take a meeting, what is it that you're looking for from us? And let me see if that's something we can deliver for you. And if we can't, then we have to be straight up. You know, we don't want to waste it. But yeah, sometimes it's very gray. It's very gray. But the main thing is that we just need to make sure that everybody that approaches us, that we give them direct answers because we don't want to sugarcoat anything for anybody.
I know a lot of artists always want to know who pays for what. So, for instance, like wardrobe, or when it comes to like props or anything extra for a music video, is it them paying for it? Is that why you have a manager there? Is the artist supposed to pay the manager a certain amount of price? Like, how exactly does that work? I know a lot of artists always want to know how's that working.
And that really depends because you, like, for example, we did have an artist that we were management and day-to-day and investment. So but that has to be up front. Yeah. So for example, like one of my other artists, they completely fund themselves and we tell them where they should be putting their money, where they should be putting their marketing, where they should be, you know, booking with this person. My job is to make sure that I get you the best deal with that person. So at that point, if this person's, one of my artists is wanting a videographer, then I'm going to try to get the best price that I can get. And if it becomes, even when it comes to props or if it comes to locations. So for example, like the Jenny B thing, we were doing at Millionaire And how do we get in there? You know, is that we just need to, you know, make the calls, see if we can negotiate a barter or something like that. Like there's always things like that we're in place to do so that you don't have to talk about the business part. But it really depends on what relationship you, not relationship, but the management artist agreement that you have, what's in your contract. Because if in your contract it shows that I don't have to invest in you, then all I'm here for is just straight career path advice. Yeah.
Gotcha. Thank you for breaking that down, because I know a lot of artists always wants to know, like, what exactly is my manager supposed to pay for or do?
Yeah,
and that's good, because like you said, some people don't know the difference.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know exactly what's in their contract, and sometimes they don't even know if they need one. Do you feel like all artists need managers? Or do you feel like some artists can like do it on their own?
It depends. Some of them can. It does get overwhelming. A lot of the things you can do on your own if you're just starting. You know, there's a easy way for you to do it on your own if you're just starting. But if you're already like been doing it and you just want some of that weight off your back, so that you don't have to, you know, you could just focus on being an artist, then that's when sometimes we're there for that. But it also just depends on what you're looking for. So like if you're looking to just be like the best in San Antonio, you could do that by yourself.
Yeah.
You know, if you're wanting to do something bigger, then that's whenever you look at a bigger team, you look at a team or you look at a manager and what could they do for you. But just because you have a manager doesn't mean that it happens in 1 year or it happens in 6 months. It doesn't mean that it happens overnight. A lot of people have that misconception that once I have a manager, like I'll give it 6 months. Like those 6 months is going to be like probably creating brand new music so that that's exactly what we're doing right now with Jenny B. And she's one of our newest ones that we've had, I think, going on a year already. And before, her sound was completely different from what it sounds like right now, and that's on purpose. It's because I said we want to do this commitment before we sign you, you know, under our management company. Let's date. And that's what I told her. Let's date a little bit, a couple of months, meaning we're not going to sign already for a year, but we're going to at least do it for, you know, 5 months or 6 months, something small. Yeah, no. So like there's no broken feelings or anything like that. And then from there we'll decide, you know. But what I want from you as an artist is I want you to figure out what sound is it that you want, and like let's make it updated, let's modernize it, let's make it to where you're entertaining your audience. And so that's what we're doing with Jen, and she's been great. You know, she's doing a lot of things right now.
How important is a social media brand, not just a sound brand? Because I know a lot of artists always have their sound. They're like, oh, I sound like so and so, I sound like this person, but they don't have a social media brand. How important is that?
It really gives. Okay, so that's a hard question, because there's certain people that you would just look at their social media and they only have like 100 followers, and they're only following, you know, a couple of people, and they have 5 posts, but they're actually more successful than some of the people that are verified right now and have 100+K on Instagram. It doesn't matter really what's on there, but people, the labels and A&Rs and execs, they look at that. I'm not gonna lie, they do. They'll pull it up right when you're in a meeting. Like, why did you post this? It doesn't look like, this doesn't match or show me that you're an artist. This doesn't match and show me that you're a singer. It just shows me that you're a married person, or it shows me that all you do is party, you know? So it just depends on how do you want other people to see you in the business, because it does not matter. They will pull up your Instagram. They will pull up your social media. And that's just the way it is. The politics, the music politics, it sucks, but you can't go and say that somebody with higher numbers is more successful than somebody that has lower numbers. It's just the way you package yourself on your social media. If you want to be an artist, make sure that you match on what you're putting out there. Because if you want your music to sell and you want your music to match, your brand, that is another branding tool. So you want that to just match. It just makes sense, you know?
Yeah.
So that's, I had to create my own personal page on my Instagram because I'm like, my family's like, oh, I'm so tired of seeing all her music stuff. I just want to, how are the babies? You know?
Yeah. Oh, I know
and,
how it is.
yeah. No, oh, this is my business one. This is, you know, and then this is my personal. So you'll see my puppies on there and stuff. So yeah, it just, you have to be able to separate that sometimes and just understand that that's a marketing tool and it's free. So why not take advantage of it and package yourself correctly, you know?
What are some, I would say, like the top 3 things an artist should have to market themselves? I know one main thing is, like you said, they need an EPK, a good bio. What are some other stuff you feel like they need to market themselves to anybody? If someone was to come up to you and say, hey, who are you? They can say, well, here's my EPK, and what else do you feel like they need?
For sure, website. I feel, or even one of those links, I forgot what it's called. My husband just got some of them for each of our artists, and it has, I think,
All
Laura,
your links in one?
yeah.
Yes.
And it has your music videos, it has your website link, it has your social media. And I forgot what it's called. It's like solo something, I don't know.
Yes,
but
those are very important.
Yeah, it's just good because it's super easy to be like, for me, studio1601music.com. Go there, you'll see all my artists. You'll see I have an internet radio station. You'll see that I have playlisting that if you want to submit to, we do the playlisting. You'll see that you want press photos, they're there on the website. You know, that I feel like we're in a digital world. And
Exactly.
if we're on the go, not everybody's going to keep your card. And I know that a lot of people like business cards, but it's just so much easier to just be in a digital world. And even if it's one of those UPC code cards or something,
just scan it and go.
Yeah, scan and go. Like, how do you make it more efficient for people to know who you are? So I think like Laura's website, we're going to try to rebrand it because her old website was lauradmusic.com.
Yeah.
So now it's like, okay, well, the alien, babe.com, like, how do we get that domain? So I would say always an EPK, updated press photos. If you have a website, it just makes it so much easier because you have your link for your EPK. You have, instead of having to bug me for photos, for a flyer, because I have a show that I booked you for, go to my website, you can get those photos and use that for a flyer. And my music's there, my social media links are there. So usually it's just the easiest thing is to have a website.
I agree.
Yep.
And good photos.
Mm-hmm.
Good photos. Invest in a photographer. I always tell people that because they always want that picture on the flyer, but then it's like a cell phone picture, a picture of them in the car, and you see the seatbelt right here, and I'm like, this is not good, especially if you're the headliner. We don't want
I know, it's so fun though. I hate pictures. I hate them with a passion. I hate to be the center of attention at all because
me too. I love the background.
It's not about me. It's not about 1601. It's about my artists. So if my artists are doing something, I'm just like, I don't need to be in there. I'm good. Like,
I'm the same way. When I DJ a show, they're like, everyone take a picture, even the DJ. I'm like, no, I'm good. But I just have to get out my comfort zone. It's like, hey, you need pictures. But I know I don't like taking pictures either. I know. That's just background all the time. So, but yeah, invest in good pictures, artists. If you're listening, do that. Just do that. And actually, iPhones take pretty good pictures. You just gotta find somebody to snap.
To do it. Oh, yeah. I know Laura's always taking some good pictures, and I'm just like,
yeah, she is, and her pictures are very unique. Cause I don't know, like when I met her and she performed at the Pacer show, I was like, okay, I like the way she looks, a little, her style. But then when I see her pictures now, it's just so different. I'm like, this is not the same one I met at the Pacer.
Yeah, I know. It's funny because you have to, if that's another thing too on Instagram, like you can be just a creative, artsy person, but like when you're on your show and you're doing your performance, you got to turn on that artist,
Yeah.
She really does do that. And she's just like super creative. I love her to death, and not just because she's my family, but like I really love her because she always thinks outside the box, always, and super creative. And you know, and she's always tattooing or piercing or she painting. She just has this creative mind and just is not a typical artist. And I don't think a lot of people know that about her. Know that she's a mom first and a family person, but she's just super creative. There's a lot of things that I still learn about her, and I'm like, how the hell do you know how to do that?
Yes. Well, I want to say congratulations to your artist who's getting the recognition that they should. You have 2 artists doing Pride performances, or 3 artists doing Pride performances, I think, right? Because one's doing the national anthem. And then the Alien Babe was in 2 of my magazines, so congrats to that. So how do you feel? Your artist is getting recognized, your work is getting paid off. I know that's a good accomplishment for you because you're the mastermind behind everything.
Yeah, no, it feels good. It really does. Sorry.
No, you good.
It feels good. We do a lot of work, and a lot of people, because we're not, posting stuff like, for clout or for anything really. It's just now people are starting to really recognize the newer artists, because we've been doing this for a good minute, and to have the artists now that have just signed with us do a lot of things makes us feel good, because we're able to make those utilize those connections that we've been making, the networking that we do. We support a bunch of other artists, and whenever we're able to at least get back to ours and it's a paid gig or whatever, it makes us feel good. That's our job. That's what we were there to do.
Tell people a little bit about the Pride celebration that's going on, where people can tune in and see your artist, which artist is doing what, who's performing. Let us know.
So it's San Antonio, or I always say it backwards, San Antonio Pride Facebook page, their YouTube page. It's going to be live on June the 27th at 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. We have Jenny B that's going to be kicking off the national anthem. Then after that, Jay Vera will be doing Rise Up for Black Lives Matters. And then we have Jennifer B doing a 4-minute set. It's all going to be 4-minute sets. So Jennifer B's performing, the Alien Babe's performing, Jay Vera's performing, and then another artist that she is actually a dancer and now is transitioning into singing. Her name is Megan. I call her Megan, but I think it's Maeli as her stage name. Excuse me. And but yeah, it'll be live. It'll be streamed live. And they're also, I believe, going to be doing some type of gathering of some sort at Bonham. So, nice. I'll post out the links and put that on our stories and stuff.
Yes, definitely. We would definitely share it, tune in. I support you guys and all your work and what you do, you and your husband. And you. I like that you have a lot of artists. You have like a one-stop shop. You do it all. You have your DJs, your Latin artists, your country singers. You have it all. So it's good. How is it working with your husband? Do you have your moments where you like disagree? Yeah. You have your moments where you're like, okay, now it's wife mode. You know how to turn it off, or it's like business all the time?
Yeah, no, for sure. Sorry. There we go. Okay. Yeah. How do I explain this? So I think what we try to make clear to everybody who works with us is that we may be married, but we're 2 completely different like people when it comes to our opinion. So if I sorry if it's skipping or my phone was gonna die, but isn't die.
No, you good.
But we just make it clear where sometimes if it's like the artist is super stern on wanting something and me and John David don't necessarily agree with it, we want it to be clear that it's 2 separate disagreements. Like we just, both of us collectively came with the same decision, but sometimes there are times where he wants something and then I don't, and I'm like, no. But what we are big on is it has to be like, I can't just say no because I don't like it. Why is it like, why doesn't it make sense, or why does it make sense? So we always and try to have like a collective agreement. But at the end of the day, John David and I are putting our opinions there. It's really up to the artist. It's their decision. They have the final say. So we're going to tell you, I would tell you not to do this, or I'll tell you to do this, and this is why. And it's really going to be up to you based on what I just advised you of. So, yeah.
But that's good. Y'all make a good team. I like that. Well, thank you, Miss Jacque, for stopping by U3. Before we let you go, give us your link so we can check you out, check your artists out. I know it's all on one website, so give us the website so we can check it out.
For sure. It's studio1601music.com, and then my Instagram is Jackie_1601. And yeah, thank you so much for having me.
You heard it straight from my mouth. Make sure you go check that out, studiomusic1601.com. You can check out all her artists, her management. If you ever need any advice, management advice, hit her up. She can help you out. You know, just little tips here and there and all that. Make sure you tune into the Pride Month and see her artists too. I will drop the links when we get that. It's your girl, DJ Baby Blue Diamond, and we're signing out.